What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel again. I am Kyle with Limitless Power Sports Service and Repair. What we got here in front of us is a 2006 Suzuki GSXR 750. He found me on, I found him, or he found me on Facebook, on a local riders group. Basically, he bought this lovely motorcycle here, and it's got the extended swing arm. It's got a 240 kit on it, and he was riding it. The chain snapped, wrapped up in the front sprocket. Luckily, it didn't crack the case, but it's stuck in third gear now, and it makes a racket when you let out on the clutch. He had it at another shop that usually does all his work, but they do not do internal motor work. Most places around me here in Southwest Missouri, where I'm at, don't do internal motor work here around the Springfield area. So everybody brings it to me to do internal motor work. But anyways, so basically what we're gonna have to do, I'll fire this thing up here in a second for you guys, and I'll let you hear what it does when you release the clutch. It could be a good possibility that the output shaft is just destroyed and bent. It looked like it when I started and looked in there a minute ago just to see what the racket was. I had to bypass the clutch switch because it actually just went bad a few minutes ago. So what we're probably gonna do is having to drop the motor out of this, split the cases, check over the transmission, see what's going on. But the first things we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look at, we're gonna pull that side cover off there. I'll start this thing up and let you guys see what it does when I release the clutch. Actually, it doesn't matter if I release the clutch or not because it won't be actuating the clutch, so it'll be spinning when I do start it because I'll have that side cover off where the clutch actuator goes. So you'll hear the racket, and we can see if that is actually off center or out of true, and see if it wobbles back and forth on that output shaft sprocket down there. And then we'll go ahead and take a look. We'll pull the clutch out of this thing. We'll take a look behind that, take a look at the shift shaft. But I'm pretty sure from what I can hear, it's definitely gonna be a transmission issue. Like I said, it's stuck in third gear. It won't shift in and out of any other gear. So let's jump down here. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll probably do a time lapse of me pulling all the body work off after we check the clutch side out over here, and pull the body work off and drop the motor out of this thing. So let's jump into this thing, guys. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull the shift linkage off this thing. We'll take the speed sensor off, and then we'll go ahead and pull the side cover off here. Hopefully you guys got a pretty good angle of what's going on. This is a 10mm wrench. Man, apparently I got a bunch of junk on my hands. Let me wipe that off before we get too far down here. All right, let's try this again. Wow, that wasn't even tight. So maybe they have been in there once at the other shop. Yeah, that's right. He was in there because he got the chain out. So I know the guy at the other shop was in there. Yeah, I believe his name was Steve. Very, very nice guy. So let's go ahead and get the speed sensor out of here because all this will eventually be just completely removed anyways. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and just take this clutch cable off because I know we're pulling the motor anyways. And maybe a 12. You guys might even hear it pop and snap and do all types of weird things while I'm just trying to crank it up. But yeah, he said it got jammed in here. He had to knock it off. I see a little bit. I see where it jammed up on there, but it didn't actually go through. So that's good. We'll leave that in there. So let's go ahead and turn this key on. Let me wipe my hands down a little bit. Clutch switch is bypassed already. Let's watch down here and see what happens here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Holy smokes. Did you guys see that? Let's fire this thing up one more time so you guys can check that out. Hit the start button. Check this bad boy out. It is, let me grab some light real quick actually. Let me grab a headlamp here for you. I'll shine it down on there, we get a better view of what's going on. If I can do this one-handed. All right, so here we go again. You guys see that? That is no bueno. That is not good. Oh man, I hope. We'll pull that sprocket off. It's gotta come off anyways. So I'll go ahead and take this out. We'll yank the sprocket off. And then, whoop, didn't mean to pull that out with the oil running everywhere. And then, well, we already know it's gotta be dropped out. So just, you can see how bad that thing's bent. But we'll still pull the sprocket first and double check the shaft. But you can see it's actually making all this walk in and out back here. That is really not good at all. That shaft that's bent big time. I think that chain I think he said it was like tripled up inside of here. I don't know how he got it out, but he got it out. So that's a good thing. Huh. Well, looky here. Somebody's worked on this in the past. If I can get it out of here. There's a nut driver, Torx down there. It goes in a nut driver gun, or yeah, screwdriver for a nut driver. Anyways, all right, guys. So I'll get that off here real quick, and we'll take another look at that shaft. Let's see if we can get this guy off of here. Go figure. Let me grab a adapter here real quick. Those things are always tough sometimes. There we go. Just took a little more oomph. 32 millimeter on the sprocket nut, which really wasn't too tight. All right. That's a collar that sits over the top of that. Let me grab a pair of channel locks here, see if we can't get that collar to pull out. There we go. Here's that collar that sits on there. This will give us a good look at what's going on down here. Maybe a little oil come out, but let's see. Fire it back up here one more time. That whole entire output shaft is definitely bent. Did you guys see that? I don't know if you guys saw that or not. We'll start it one more time. So, we got some work ahead of us here. So basically what's gonna happen now, if I can get this thing on my face right, next step I'm gonna do, I don't know if I wanna pull the clutch out while it's still on the bike, but we know that output shaft, it's shot. That's no ifs, ands, or buts. The push rod for the clutch, it slides through. For the actuation, that one's been also from the chain hitting that. So I guess, the clutch and everything's gotta come out anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do a time lapse, pull the tank, all that crap. I mean, you guys, there's no point in me getting all that and let you guys just spend an hour or two watching a video of me doing that. So we'll do a time lapse of me pulling the motor out of this thing, drain the oil, pull the motor, drain the coolant, drain the oil, all that stuff. And also one more thing we gotta do, we're gonna pull off this swing arm for this guy. He's gonna go ahead and powder coat it. So, but we gotta find out, I gotta talk to a friend of mine. You can see somebody tried to make this 240 kit fit on this thing, and they shaved off the inside of that. That is insane. So I gotta find somebody who can weld me a patch in there, hopefully, and fix that. So this is gonna be a little bit of a project. So I'll probably have the motor done before I get back to Swingarm from him having it powder coated and whatever else he wants to powder coat. I think he's gonna do the side covers, maybe a few other things. So I'm gonna throw you guys back on my stand And I'm gonna go ahead and put you on a time lapse of me dropping this motor out, and then I can give you guys the specs again like I did in my last video when I did that 05 GSXR 1000 transmission. It's a lot of noise with these tripods. You know, that GSXR 1000 I did, I can give you torque specs on how to put it all back in the frame. It's the same scenario, same thing. I honestly think the torque specs are exactly the same. But anyways, so time-lapse time, I'm rambling on. If you haven't subbed. Most of you guys who watch my content haven't subbed. Again, whatever, I appreciate it. If I helped you guys out in the past, or you give me a holler, man, you know, a sub, some likes, super thanks on that. And eventually I'm thinking about getting some beanies, maybe some t-shirts, some logos on it, shop name, if you guys are interested. We'll see what happens in the future. But anyways, let's jump into this time lapse of dropping this motor out, this 06 GSXR 750. Go.
Suspect was last reported southbound on Highway 99.
016, 1043 with the pursuit.
All right, guys, so battling a lot of things here. There's a lot of stuff that's not put together properly. That was all bent up. Couldn't get to it until I loosened the top of the radiator up. But now you guys can see that oil drain plug. It's been, bottom of this been busted off, so we can get them another oil pan since it's coming off, put one in there properly. So let's throw up here. Let's see if I can get that off without destroying anything. It's coming out. Now, how's it sealing? I have no idea, because it's not even flush. Probably a bunch of silicone or something, who knows. All right, let's see what happens here. Well, here comes the oil. So that's good. Once this drains, we'll take a look in there. They had Teflon tape on that, and see what's going on. See if there's any shavies in there. But like I said, you see that output shaft is just destroyed. So I'm gonna throw you back on time lapse, and I'll just keep taking this thing apart. All right, guys, you saw me struggle hardcore with this motor. I meant to put the screwdriver through this side after I took this out and let the bottom one in, vice versa, so when I would lean it forward and whatever, but I want it to come out this way, and I wanted to get this out first, but you can see I struggled with that, so I leaned down here on the tire, didn't get the fender or anything like that, so we're good there. But it was a little awkward, but no big deal. It's out. Seems like everything that was connected was just stuck. So there goes my Alexa talking to me. But anyways, okay, I had to edit that part out because copyright probably. Anyways, my Alexa was playing some Metallica. What was I talking about? So yeah, you guys saw, the motor fell forward. I didn't want to do it like that. I wanted to lower this down first so I could lean it and then slide it out, but it didn't work out for me that time like I wanted it to. What are you gonna do? So anyways, we got the motor out. That's gonna be our next step. Off camera though, I'm gonna go ahead and pull his swing arm off this thing so he can take this off the powder coat and have that done. And I'll just have the frame lift over here for him. And I'll just put it off to the side, I don't know, somewhere around here on its frame and on its front wheel. And then we'll get into the transmission of this GSXR. All right, guys, we got the oil here out of that. Let's just pour it in and see if we got any chunks or anything in here. I'm not seeing anything shining at the moment. So he's lucky enough, there's no chunks in the oil, so that's a good thing. I do have it set up over here on my workbench, so let's go ahead and jump into that. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do first here, you guys see I took all the hoses off of it. I'm gonna go ahead and label all my coils so I know they go right back in case we do have an issue. So I'm just gonna label 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll just stick the spark plugs back in there once we take them out. Not sure when the last time he changed the spark plugs were. Let's see if they're even tight. Yeah, well there's a problem for whoever put spark plugs in here last. Not too bad looking. It's tan all the way down in there. So there's number 1. Okay, let's see how tight this one is. That's bad. That is real bad. That's not even 2 Newton meters. These things, I think spark plugs are around 17, 18 Newton meters, 15 to 18 Newton meters. Number 2, nice tan all the way down to the bottom, middle of the spark plug electrode. Gee, Manitleys. I'm gonna use my needle nose next to see if I can just turn it like that. That is insane. Number 3. It looks good, but I think we're gonna replace these anyway since we're here. And let's go with number 4. Okay. Let's see if I can do it. That's how loose they are. That's crazy. You guys, you gotta at least crush the crush washer on here so we know they get a good seal. You'll get blow by, compression, all that crap on here. If I can get over to my spark plug. And 4 looks pretty good too as far as color goes, but again, we're gonna go ahead and replace these anyways. You guys see that? All the colors look good there. We'll set these on my cart. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get rid of the cam sensor real quick because when the motor does get flipped upside down, I don't want to put any pressure on that at all. I'm gonna stuff some paper towels down in here too. That way we don't get any debris in there because this top end's not gonna come apart on this. We're just going to take the clutch off, the shift shaft out, flywheel, all that stuff, water pump, everything, and then we'll loosen everything up here, get all those bolts out, flip the motor over. Well, we're gonna take the oil pan off first at an angle, and we'll take everything off here, flip the motor over, take everything out, and just pull the cases in half that way. None of this has to come off to do that. So let's grab some paper towels, fill those holes up real quick. Kids are outside hooting and hollering. All right, so we got that done there. Let's start with, I think we'll start with the flywheel side. So let me lower you guys down and get a little bit better shot on that. So I think we're gonna start here. We're gonna pull the flywheel off, figure 8 cover. We'll get the starter out right away. And then we'll get the starter out, get the figure 8 cover off, flywheel out, spin it around. We might just probably pop the water pump out while we're on this side. Spin it around, take the clutch out. So let's go ahead and get the starter out real quick. Look like a couple. All right, so found my 10 over on my cart. I dropped it with the hoses and stuff. Got that bad boy. Usually, I thought these had 8 mil heads, 6x10, but I could be wrong. Let's get this starter out of here real quick. All right, starter's out. Go put this on my cart. All right, so anyways, let's start with this figure 8 cover. I mean, holy, there's nothing feels tight on here at all. There is a washer on the back side of this starter gear here, so make sure you guys keep that washer right there. Let's not forget there's also a bolt that goes right there. It's an 8 mil head, 6x10 right here. And then let's go ahead and work our way around. I think there's 9. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I lied. There's 8. 1, 2. I want to check the length of these. I think they're all the same size. Yeah, all those are the same size, and you have a shorty on the inside. And then you have these 3 for the reduction gear for the starter. Let's see if we can't get this bad boy to come off without no issues there at all. Somebody's been in here, feels like recently. There we go here. Stator looks good. Gasket looks good. We'll get a new gasket anyways. Pull this out. Check on everything else. Rotor looks nice and clean. I don't feel any debris on it. Let's go set this off to the side. You know, I just remember, guys, I don't even have to pull this off. I put the bolt back on. I don't have to pull the rotor off to split the case on this. I was just so used to like pulling the motors completely apart, but I do need to get rid of the, not get rid of, but take the water pump off. One, 2, and yeah. So let's get the water pump out of here. Oh man, that thing is on there. Everything on this bike, except for the bolts, connectors were stuck more than the water pump. Or more than the bolts were. Ow. Let me grab one of my rags here. we go. Woo, look how nasty that is. We'll have to clean that up. Oh yeah, full of coolant. Nice. We'll sop all that up with some paper towels. All right, so anyways, making a lovely mess. It's my favorite part about motorcycles is coolant and brake fluids. Oh, I love them. My two favorite fluids. But anyways, just using a towel so I don't scrape everything up, scratch everything up really bad. All right, so now we're on to the clutch side. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get oil out of this thing most likely, no big deal. So we'll go ahead and take all this crap off. All these bolts get tightened to 10 Newton meters, 10 to 12 Newton meters, and these are definitely nowhere near that tight. I can tell you that. All right, so let's check. I think they're all the same length, but maybe this one. I feel like I hear water dripping, but hell, who knows? Yep, all those are the same length. Let's grab that guy, and then come back in here, give her a little pry, find the other spot, work it off here. Our pickup, our crank pickup right here. So like I said, we know we're gonna get a little oil running out, no big deal. So we got that. Let's throw our bolts back in here for this. Get rid of this, put this on the cart. All right, so next, we gotta come in here and we're gonna pull the clutch basket out. I think we can make it past this guy here. Yeah, I should just pass that once we get everything out of there. Maybe, matter of fact, pull that push rod out the other side. You can see how bent it is. Those are all 10s. These get tightened to 8 to 10 Newton meters. I'll break them all a little bit loose at first. And then we can just start coming out. Pull the pressure plate off. Looks like a lot of the clutch plates are going to come with it, no big deal. Check the bearing. That looks nice. Got the washer in there. You can see it was one off, which is proper. That is put together correctly. Pull that guy out. We'll drop it back in here. And then I believe this is a 27 millimeter, so we'll go ahead and grab that while we got the plates on there. Could be a 30, so I'm gonna grab a 30, 27. Oh, it is a 30. Yep, 30, okay. Maybe it's Yamaha, that's 27, I don't remember. Give it a few good hits. See, it was peened over pretty good. Got the washer, another thrust washer. We're gonna pull the whole inner clutch hub out. You got the plates on the back, sitting here like this. That'll sit there. This little guy is set down in here like so, with your thrust washer on the back. Don't forget that. If I can get it to set in here right. We'll get it off to the side. Let's not forget that thrush washer we were talking about. And then you can grab a magnet, stick it on there. If I can find my magnet, here's my little one. That probably will work. We'll work it back and forth a little bit. If I can get, I need my bigger one, but I don't know where it's at. All right, needle bearings are coming out anyways. So there we go. Needle bearing, spacer, and then we're gonna have to rotate this over a little bit to move, the crank's in the way on this, so I gotta move that out of the way. So let me grab, I think that's a 17 millimeter, which I should have. Nope, 14 millimeter. And we'll rotate this crank out of the way, right there. Get the clutch basket out. All right, guys, so sorry my kids came in to have a ball aired up. Set of magnets to come in here. It might be kind of hard to see. You can get the oil pump sprocket and stuff off here. Of course, you can't get really the chain off or anything like that, but we got that off with a set of magnets. And then we'll take the oil pan off and we'll get the rest of the chain out of there. All right, so we got that out of there for the oil. We'll get all this stuff off to the side. We'll put that away. So next thing we need to do, I know it's kind of a bad angle. I might need to wear a headlamp for you guys, is come through on the other side and pull off a circlip that holds the shift shaft all the way through. So we'll spin this thing around, get that out of the way. We'll spin this around so we can get that out next. So you can see it's the snap ring right there. We'll get that out. We'll take off the gear position stuff. And then I think we gotta take this little ring off here, which separates that. And then we can take off this outer piece also, so we can see what's going on with the output shaft on this thing. So we'll just lean this over on its side like this for now. I'll throw this up underneath here, see if it balances. Kind of a crappy angle for you guys. It's hard for me to get in there and show you guys this stuff and work on it at the same time by myself. That's a lot of oil running out, even though we drained it all. All right, so let's see. Let's clean that up real quick. Nice. I mean, just look at, I'm gonna plug this up with another rag. I'd hate to get something down in there. I mean, I know it's coming apart, but there's a lot of junk floating around here. This motor needs to be cleaned. Bike should have been cleaned before I took it apart, but that is my fault. So anyways, plug that off. Let's get this shift shaft out. So let's grab some snap ring pliers. That and the washer. Clean off the shift shaft a little bit. There's that. Oh, here comes the clutch rod. Forgot about that. Now, if you guys look in here, now we should be able to just pull this shift shaft mechanism out of here. Of course, I can't do it when I'm standing up on end. Man, I really need an engine stand now. Oh, it's falling over. Anyways, There's that. Got a washer on it right there. Don't forget that. That is out. We probably could get this chain off the oil pump like that. Get the thrush washer off the back. It goes behind the oil pump. And we're good there. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it up on end. And actually I'm probably just gonna spin it. We'll take the oil pan off. So I'm gonna put all this other stuff on my cart and we'll get the oil pan off this thing. All right, so we got this motor upside down now. We got a little bit of the mess cleaned up. Let's go ahead and take this oil pan off. All right, guys, sorry my battery went dead and I thought I had my other ones charging and they weren't, but I got that last bolt out right there while we were off camera. I took out the gear position sensor and this little keeper for the O-ring there that connects the two bottom case halves. All right, so let's pull you guys can see this was welded, so we're gonna order a new one off of eBay. Let's see, and the oil pickup just fell out. Looks like there's RTV on it, like the O-ring's not right, or is this not the right pickup for this? It may not even be the right pickup for this because it does not fit in there properly. It doesn't fit tight. That's a scary situation right there. Here, let me throw you back on the tripod right here. So see if we can't get in here a little bit. I'm gonna try so we all get a decent view. Let's clean this up real quick. You guys can see there is RTV on that, around that O-ring. I don't know, because that should fit in there snug. And it doesn't. That kind of worries me that this may not be the right pickup for this motorcycle, because they fixed that and they may have broke the pickup and just got another one. I don't know if it's the right or wrong one, but that O-ring definitely does not seal. That thing should just set in there. It should seal tight against that. It could be the wrong O-ring. I might just order an O-ring and see if we can get that to fit and stay in there how it's supposed to, but it's definitely not. You can see they did a pretty big weld job there. There's a little bit of grit in there. I'm not sure what that's from. Could be dirt. Here is the gasket, and then oil pressure relief. So the next thing, we got all that off. I guess I can take out the oil pump over right here. That way when I do flip it over, it doesn't just sit on this, because we have to flip it over and take the bolts off the other side before we start taking bolts off of this side so we can split these cases. So let's grab an 8 real quick. Remember that the chain spins the oil pump, and that also spins your water pump. Let's get this out of here. There are a couple dowel pins down here in the bottom. Don't want to lose those. If I can get them out. There we go. Don't want to lose those. We'll check the underside of this. There's the O-ring for it right here. That goes there. We'll order a new one of those. So we'll get that, and then I'll go ahead and flip the motor over, and then we'll start on getting the bolts loose on the backside, get all those out, and then we'll get all the bolts here loose, and we'll split the cases so we can get to this transmission. All right, guys, so we got six 8 mil by 8 millimeter heads by 6.10 bolts to take out. There's 1, 2, 3. There was one here for the ground. 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it looks like 7 on this side. I thought there was 8, but there's 7. So we don't have to take this guy off, but we do have to get some of these off first, the 8s, and then we can start loosening up the 10s. I have to grab that one back there. It's a little rough. We got it broke loose. We'll grab a extension and a, oh, I can't think of the name of the darn thing. Swivel, so we can use our gun to get it out the rest of the way if I can find my adapter. It may just come out without me having to use a swivel, so let's see. Or without using a gun, because it's pretty loose. Yeah, it's coming on out, no problem. Let me grab a shorty though. Once it gets so high, we start running into issues, so we'll grab the shorty. There we go with that one. We got the front, same length. Back part of the cases, all those are the same length. All right, that's good. So now I'll break these, well, check this one too. This one should, yeah. Here, here, and here the same length. Here, 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 and here all the same length. Now we'll go ahead and break off these 12s. I probably should do the 8s on the other side, but we're gonna go ahead and knock these 12s out, because the case has still held together on the other side with some 8mm bolts. There we go, got that one loose. There we go, that one. Got to get an extension for that guy. Get a little 3-inch extension. Oh, I'm gonna need a 1/4-inch drive because, or a chrome socket. Actually, my impact sockets are just too big. Chrome ones are a little bit thinner than the my impact socket, so there's that. Alexa, turn off the timer. We'll get these out of here. Unfortunately, I can't get this one out unless I do it like this. And then we'll go back and flip the motor over one more time. I'll work on this front one. We'll double check all the length to make sure, see if they're all the same or not. That way we keep them in the proper positions. Nope, the one in the front shorter in the very front, and then Oh, these guys here have a washer. There's a washer. If I can get it off. Boy, it doesn't want to move. Definitely tough working around the camera though. I keep saying that. It's been a tough one right now. That washer off. Put that on this bolt. And there's a washer here. All of these should have a washer on them. Back here, washer, 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 washer. The front one does not, it looks like. There we go. It's just like the 1000, it had a washer on it. So just remember, two shortest ones go here, two longest ones go there, and the one that's in the middle is the front. So that should be pretty easy to remember there. So all those bolts are out of the way. No, should be nothing left on this side to loosen up. Yep, we're all good here. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the top of this a little bit. There's some oil on it, and then I'm gonna flip it over and we'll get to the other side. All right guys, so we got the motor flipped upside down. I got you a different view. I got you from the top down. We're gonna go ahead and pull off this bolt here. It is a 8mm head, 6x10 thread pitch. Take that bad boy out. We're gonna keep that separate so we know what bottom crankcase bolts are. So we're gonna do, go ahead and take these guys here loose, right here, and then we're gonna go ahead and work ourselves backwards here. All right guys, sorry the battery went dead there and I had some people stop in, I had to take care of some business. So we're gonna go ahead and pull out these bolts here, and then we'll work our way backwards on the torque of the rest of the crankcase on these 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, 10 bolts there. So we'll go ahead and pop these out real quick. That looks to be probably a 6 or an 8. Do I have my 6x6? Let's see if I can get it out here with this gun, or I may have to go to the big boy. Right in some oil. Just got to figure out where everything's at. All right, will that go on there? Will that fit? Will that get it out? Whoo, that's tight. So that's gonna be a big fat no. We're gonna have to, I'm gonna use this guy and this, get my big, hardest part is I don't wanna get too crazy and knock this. There we go. That wasn't too bad once we broke her loose. Cool. Might do the same thing on these 12s. There we go. There we go. All right, there we go. Let's get all these out real quick. Six. All right. 6, 12, 12. All right, so again, we want to make sure I line these up the same way. We double check the pattern of how to break these down real quick, because you just want to start breaking them loose. You know, you want to go the opposite direction of what it tells you to do as far as like torquing it down goes. If I can type the right password in my computer. All right, so we got a couple inside here. Yep, gotta get these guys yet. Why is that? Let me bring the schematic bigger. That just looks so weird why it looks like that. Well, that's right. Oh, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. Thought something was weird looking at this other one. That's what it is. I'm looking at these empty holes there. And this. Okay. Makes sense now. I was like, something, it wasn't making much sense looking at it before. There we go. All right, now, number one would be, so we need to go 10. So 10, 9, 12. So 10, 9, before we lose that, 9. Nine, 8, 7, woo, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, this one's 6, 6, 5, 4. My kids just screamed at the top of their lungs, so I had to pause that there for a second. Tell me dinner's ready. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we tighten those back up. Torque specs on those are going to be 18 Newton meters or 13 foot-pounds, and then final is 50 degrees. So you got to have a torque wrench that does degrees, or have the little adapter that tells you the degrees. So let's go ahead and pull those out real quick with our gun. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, I felt that all break loose. All right, set these out how they should go. Man, everything is just nasty. Okay, I'm gonna set these off to the side exactly how they should go so I don't mess any of that up. All right. When I say how they should go, I'm saying, you know, like, the way they came out. Each end has washers. Oh, that bad boy doesn't want to come out very good. Come on, there we go. Good golly. Okay. Okay. That will go on. This guy right here. All right, anyways. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and tap the cases. I'm gonna slide this up just a little bit more, make it hold down here, because when these cases do come apart, which is gonna be here shortly, I would no longer have a space to rest there. So let's grab my dead blow hammer. Give these case halves a few taps. Make sure I got everything out. Pretty sure I do. Again, let me lower this just a little bit. Actually, I think I'm gonna lower it pretty far. It's gonna take a minute here. One of these days I'll get down there where I wanna be at. Come on. Almost there, another couple inches. Life story, right? All right, there we go. We'll put that down there. Give this guy a few more taps, see what we can do to get it to break loose. It's coming loose. She is coming loose. I did put it on TDC also, so you guys know that. I don't know, I didn't do it on camera, I did it off camera, but I did put it on top dead center. These are always a pain in the butt to get to break apart right here, especially these cases that haven't been apart in a long, long time. Like I said, this side's coming apart. I can see that. That's good. Just got to get this rotor side to start coming apart a little bit. Which she does not want to even budge on this. I'm pretty sure I got all the bolts out of it. From what I saw in the schematics and what I looked at, I just know there's a lot of silicone that holds this together too, though. So sucky. All right, well, we'll just keep working at it and see if we get it knocked off here. I'm gonna move the camera so I don't knock you guys over. I need to move around. So as soon as I get to the part, I'll let you know what I find out. All right, so I figured it out. I found an 6x1/0 bolt over there. I'm like, this thing is not moving. What is going on? And I missed one. I'm like, that thing should have came apart a lot easier than that. I know they can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but that was a little ridiculous. That is also very not good because you could definitely, now the cases come apart really easy, but you could definitely break that bolt if you're not careful. All right, so, I mean, it took me like 3 seconds to move the motor around, camera out of the way so I could figure out what the heck was going on. All right, so anyways, here we go. Work this off. I can feel the pin sticking back there. There we go. Main bearings look good. Those all look really good. Barely any wear. I mean, they got a little bit of wear, which is pretty common, but that looks good. Set this case half off to the side. So you can see the dogs on this guy all look good. Let me slowly rotate this to get a look at all. I'm gonna look at one gear at a time, make sure there's nothing missing. This is your input from the clutch, so I'm not really too worried about this. And again, I don't have the top end part. I just have, and the cam chain is still tight, but it is on top dead center compression stroke. The dots are lined up here on this guy for the balancer, or I forget what the exact name of this is. But anyways, and then the halves for the half moons and all that crap. So anyways, that looks great. That looks great. That slides pretty good. I mean, that's just an O-ring or the little tab that goes there. So all this part of the motor looks really great. So I'm going to take this part of the motor, I'm going to set it off to the side. We do have O-ring here. We will have to clean this up. I'll clean it all up, but I'm going to set this off to the side and cover it up. That way we don't get any debris in here. And then we'll come back. I'll come back and I'll clean all this off of camera when we find out what's wrong with this other thing. So let me move this off to my cart. I'll cover this up and then we'll get onto the bottom half of the case. All right, guys, so now we're on the bottom half of the crankcase here. What the heck's in my pocket? Keys. So you can see freewheel locked in place, stuck, freewheels locked in place. I can't even turn it, and it is still in, I believe, what third gear it said on the thing. So what we're gonna do, I'm going to take this guy off here, and then we'll go ahead and get this off, and we'll pop probably the slider rod for the shift forks out and see what kind of jammed up situation we got going on. I may have to take off. I do have to take this off regardless, because we're going to place that seal and the bearing on the inside. This guy will come out too, but let's start here on this one here. So that's what, a 10 millimeter. So we'll get that out of the way. Just remember, keep everything together so it all goes back the same way. All right, well, that's got a little bit of movement on it. At least I think we may be able to pull the rod out and then pull the, that'll drop down. Then we should be able to pull the drum out. So let's go ahead and grab our impact driver here, because I don't know how tight those are. Yeah, that fits in there good. Give it a good little smack. I don't want to hit it too aggressively because I'm on that side of the crankcase. These do have Loctite on them also. I believe it's a blue Loctite. Boy, this lift is rocking good. It's off center. All right, apparently I'm gonna have to take this off because I cannot get that washer by. So that looks like a 5 millimeter. There's that. Now where is my adapter? Because I don't remember where it went to. Oh, here it is. I lost my regular 5 mil 3/8 drive. That bolt was definitely look like it's bent. You could just see, I don't know if you can see that, but you could just see the wear and tear on that. So we'll need a new, oh, there we go. The wear and tear on this guy. I don't know if you can see that, but it's all flat spotted here. So pull this one off. Got a little pin it lines up with on the back of here. It did actually shift, but that doesn't mean anything. But so let's keep taking out these screws here that hold the shift fork rod in place. We got that. Now the hard part I think is going to be actually getting the shift fork rod out, shift fork shaft out. So what I'm probably gonna do, I'm gonna grab these needle nose and just put a little pressure on this thing and see if it, nope, it ain't going anywhere. Whew. Let's think about this for a minute. So let's go ahead, let's take this side off, because that, as much as that's been, I think it's putting awkward pressure on everything. So let's go ahead and we'll pull this off. These look to be 27 millimeter. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one there, we got to dig out all the crap in it. Get all that junk out of there. I think it looks like to be like a 27. Let's grab a 30 just in case. Felt a little loose. Yep, 30. 30 Torx. Well, the bearing just fell out for the shift drum. We grab a little extension. That one might be a pain in the butt because you can see where I could see where the chain rubbed against that one. Let's get this one out here. So let's get all these out. We'll check them, make sure they're the same length. This guy here definitely might need a little love tap to get it to go, because I could see where the chain had to rub that from when it got caught in the cases, and it kind of messed up one or two of the little parts where the Torx go. There's that guy. We'll get this piece off here. I should have took this off first actually instead of that. So we got to clean that out because this is what the seal sets in. The seal's got to. I'm going to replace the seal just because of how cattywampus that was going back and forth in there. So we'll just continue on. Get those guys out. Little pry bar. All right, pop that off. I thought I saw in the schematics an O-ring probably down in there, but that bearing will need to be replaced and the letters will face outwards out of the motor. But we're gonna replace this seal regardless. So let's throw these screws back in here so we know, keep track of where all this stuff is coming from. Now I'm going to try to pry this off of here with that bearing, because this plate comes out and that bearing stays in here. I just got to find a good spot to maybe give it a little tap, which might be up underneath here. But let's see if I can't just get it to move first. I don't want to put much pressure on the cases at all. Yeah, let's give it a little tap down here where there's a spot. And we'll clean all this up before we do put it back together. This may be a big pain because with having this bent, it's going to be one hell of a time trying to get it to slide over this. But as soon as we clear, make sure I'm in focus here. Make sure we clear the bearing race or the inner. My God, yes, this bearing race, I guess you would call that on this one. The inside of that gets off the part of that shaft will be okay. But it's going to take, apparently it's going to take a little bit of love. Not how I like to do it, but I can find these on eBay for not too crazy much. Little movement there. There we go. I can feel it moving. There we go. I just don't like putting it on these surfaces, but I'm barely putting any pressure on there. We're going to replace this bearing anyways. Let me grab another pry bar so we can go work it back and forth on both ends instead of going back like that. Just nice and easy. There we go. All right, so now we got that off. We will press this bearing out on my press. It will, oh wow. I could definitely see how far off it got. I don't know if you guys can see that in here or not. There's a space right there where the bearing has actually shifted out. And since this since the output shaft is bent, and you can see how far off it sets. So next, let's get this stuff out of the way. We will put, like I said, I'm gonna put all the nuts and bolts back where it belongs so I remember where it all goes. I'm usually pretty good about it regardless, but I want to make sure that we don't happen to screw something up. Things happen. Been doing this a long time. Things happen. Usually I'm in Ziploc baggies labeled what everything goes for. Got quite a few things apart here in the shop right now anyways, but that's besides the point. So let's see. We got to be able to somehow get this. Boy, I'm going to have to think about this. Okay, that's moving freely. Since this is bent, I may have, I'm trying to think of what I can do to get the shift, because this one here is stuck so bad, I don't want to pry on anything. I really don't. I really, really don't. I wonder, you know what I'm going to try to do? I'm going to try to get a bolt extractor. Well, I don't have a slide hammer. I'll have to think about it, guys. I'm just going to mess around with this off camera until I figure it out. When I figure it out, I'll let you guys know, but we know this thing is all bent. That is for sure. So I'm going to have to get this guy off here. I will take this, you know what? Here, let's take this out right now. While we're standing here, let's take this out first. That might give us enough up and down play on the back side of the transmission shaft to get things to come out. So let's, here's what you actually, I didn't even think about it. Here's what you do on this guy. You take these two here and you thread them back into this hole. I didn't even think about it on this one. It has the same thing. Thread in here, thread in there. I forgot all about those till I looked down at this. And then you could slowly turn each one of these in, and it's kind of like almost like a puller. We do this a lot with different style CVT clutches. But you see how it's pulling that out now? Just a little bit of pressure. See how it dropped in there? Back and forth, back and forth. There we go. That'll help tremendously. You can see where I did put a little pressure there, but that's pretty typical. Put those back in the spots they came out of. I completely forgot about those on the front side of that. I even looked at them. I wasn't even thinking about it on that outer part. So there's that. Not sure what we're gonna do. about this. Not sure if I'm going to take that and replace it or not. It doesn't look too bad. There we go. Now we got plenty of play. I lied. I'm not going to do it off camera. I think we have plenty of play now. I just had to take that off the backside. So there we go. Now we should be able to get the shift shaft out. Shift shaft, the shift fork shaft should be able to. All right, let's see. I will still probably need to grab one of those anyways. Where did I put them at? Here we go. I don't have, I think there's a tool that you stick in there and it pulls it out, but I don't have it. So we're gonna go ahead and use a bolt extractor that just fits in there enough that'll give me a grip on it and help me pull it out, because this, even though this transmission is finally loose, it's not wanting to move very well. So I might go one a little bit smaller. Just try this one. Nope. Well, there we go. Now we got her coming. A little jiggle, jiggle. A little jiggle, jiggle. All right, shift drum out. Shift fork shaft. Shift fork, which we're going to replace that because of the torque on it. We're going to replace them both, a matter of fact. And now, transmission, come on out. Finally. Finally. But I could see it from here how bent this output shaft is for sure. All right, so everything's out of that. Let me grab this dowel pin and put it back here in the, which part of the case did this come out of? Was it front corner, middle? I'll have to look again to where this came out of. I think it's, anyways, it could be on the bottom. I'll have to look one more time. But anyways, we got transmission out. I'll set this off to the side. We'll get a look at this transmission to see what's going on. And we'll decide what we're gonna, how we're gonna, our plan of attack from there on out. So, stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're gonna end this here, part one on this 2006 GSXR 750 transmission. I figured, you know, try to get it in a video, might be a little long, dropping the motor out, taking the motor apart, seeing what's going on with it. We see some struggles I had, and some things I forgot from, because it's been a while. And the manuals on these are actually very vague on a few things. So we know we need a new output shaft. We're gonna use new shift forks, output shaft seal, output shaft bearing, the shift detent segment bolt, I think is what it's called. Like on the shift star, that was bad. I'm looking at the transmission, I'm looking at this thing while we're at it. Side case gaskets, oil, filter, coolant, oil pan gasket, oil pan. What else do we need? The main bearings look good. The motor sounded good when it ran. So we just want to take care of all that stuff. And if I see anything else that I think we need to address, we'll address that on here again. Again, guys, if you haven't subbed, please do. Give the video a thumbs up or thumbs down for the content. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I hope this is helpful for somebody. I got a pretty good comment on the 05 GSXR 1000 I just did a transmission on a few months back. Really helped the guy out a whole bunch. So shout out to you for dropping that comment. I appreciate that my videos are helping you guys out. And if you see something that I may have did wrong, let me know. You know, like I said, it's been a while since I had to do one of these. I appreciate it, guys. You can, if you have questions, drop a comment, or you can email me at limitlesspodsport788@gmail. Find me on Facebook at Limitless Power Sport Service and Repair. And I do some TikTok stuff, Limitless Power Sport, Sir and Rep. Again, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you on my next upload.